You can tell someone's priorities by what they spend their time talking about. Of course, we do get it wrong, but if something is repeated in the scripture, we should take notice. If someone keeps on, then they're either obsessed or it is important. Paul, in his letters to the Corinthians, does bang on about a special offering he was organising for the Jerusalem church. And this wasn't the first time he'd arranged an offering. He was a serial fundraiser. Paul was not hoping for an all-expenses-paid freebie to Jerusalem. This visit was his duty and his joy. Now, before we go on, you often hear these scriptures used by church leaders to encourage giving to their church or ministry. You might be able to apply the principles for salaries and church expenses, but that is not what Paul is talking about. Paul is raising money for poor Christians outside the parish. The claims Paul makes are quite extraordinary and open to abuse. However, there's no watering down what he says. This is something that really motivated Paul. Paul believed that giving to those in need was firmly connected to the welfare of each individual Christian, in direct proportion to how they gave. You will be enriched in every way for your great generosity, which will produce thanksgiving to God through us. We don't have the space to go into why Paul thought this, or what he meant. Best to go on to what probably drove him. Paul says in Galatians 2 verse 10, they asked only one thing, that we remember the poor. If you're asked to do one thing, then you should make sure you do it. Paul had been commissioned by the church leaders in Jerusalem to put this one requirement on the Gentile Christians, and he was determined that he would get it done. This is a directive from the earliest church fathers to us, the non-Jewish converts, who before they became Christians knew nothing about care for the weak and the poor.